The Invisible Strings, Understanding Michel Foucault and the Connection Between Power and Knowledge. When we think about power, we often imagine a king sitting on a throne, a president signing a law, or a police officer making an arrest. We tend to think of power as something that is held by people at the top and used to control people at the bottom. However, the famous French philosopher Michel Foucault looked at the world differently. He argued that power is not just something people have, it is something that flows through everything we do, say, and believe. Most importantly, he discovered that power and knowledge are two sides of the same coin. He even created a special term for this, which we can call power knowledge. He believed that whoever decides what is true or normal in a society actually holds the greatest power of all. To understand Foucault's ideas, we have to look at how the things we learn in school, the way doctors talk to us, and even the way we look at ourselves are all part of a giant web of invisible control. The first big idea Foucault wanted us to understand is that power is not always a bad thing that says, no, or stop. In the past, power was often about punishment. If you broke a rule, the king might hurt you. But in the modern world, Foucault argued that power is productive. This means it creates things. It creates types of people, it creates ways of behaving, and it creates what we call truth. For example, think about how we decide who is sane and who is insane. This is not just a biological fact, it is a type of knowledge that was created by doctors and psychologists over hundreds of years. By defining what it means to be mentally healthy, these experts are exercising power. They are deciding who gets to live freely in society and who needs to be locked away or treated. Power and knowledge work together here. The knowledge of psychology gives doctors the power to control people, and the power of the medical system allows them to keep creating more knowledge. Foucault also talked about something called discourse. In simple words, a discourse is a way of talking or thinking about a subject. Every area of life has its own discourse. There is a way that scientists talk, a way that lawyers talk, and even a way that parents talk to their children. These discourses act like a set of invisible rules. They tell us what is okay to say and what is not, what is considered a fact, and what is dismissed as a myth. Foucault argued that the person who controls the discourse controls the truth. If a society decides that a certain way of living is unnatural, based on the scientific knowledge of the time, that belief becomes a powerful tool to make people feel ashamed or to force them to change. We don't need a king to tell us how to act. The truth we have learned does the work for us. One of Foucault's most famous examples of how power works in the modern world is the idea of the panopticon. This was originally a design for a prison where a single guard could watch all the prisoners from a central tower, but the prisoners could never see the guard. Because the prisoners never knew if they were being watched, they started to act as if they were being watched all the time. They began to police themselves. Foucault argued that our whole society has become a bit like this prison. We are constantly being measured, tested, and observed, by cameras, by social media, by school grades, and by workplace reviews. Because we know we are being watched and judged against what is normal, we start to control our own behavior. We don't need a police officer standing over us because we have turned the eyes of society inward. This is what Foucault called disciplinary power. It is a quiet, constant pressure to fit in and be useful to society. This leads to another important concept called biopower. Foucault noticed that modern governments are very interested in managing the bodies of their citizens. They want to know the birth rates, the death rates, how healthy people are, and how much work they can do. This is why we have things like public health campaigns, mandatory vaccinations, and fitness standards. While these things can be good for us, Foucault warns that they are also ways for power to reach deep into our private lives. The government uses scientific knowledge to tell us how to eat, how to exercise, and even how to have families. Our very bodies become a project for the state to manage. This is a very different kind of power than the power of an old-fashioned king. It is a power that cares about our life and health, but it also wants to make sure we are predictable and easy to manage. Foucault also wanted us to realize that where there is power, there is always resistance. Because power is everywhere and flows through our conversations and our knowledge, we can also find ways to challenge it. We do this by questioning the truths we have been told. We can ask, who benefits from this rule, or why is this considered normal? By creating new types of knowledge and new ways of talking, we can begin to break the invisible strings that control us. For example, many movements for social justice work by challenging the scientific, or legal, knowledge that was used to keep people down in the past. When we change the discourse, we change the power structure. Another layer of Foucault's theory is the idea of subjectification. This is a fancy word for how we become the people we are. Foucault believed that we are not born with a fixed self. Instead, we are shaped by the power and knowledge systems around us. From the moment we are born, we are told what it means to be a boy or a girl, a good student, a productive worker, or a law-abiding citizen. We internalize these labels and they become our identity. We often think we are being free when we make choices, but Foucault suggests that our choices are often limited by the scripts that society has written for us. Understanding this can be a bit scary, but it is also a path to freedom. If we understand how we were made, we can start to decide who we want to be for ourselves. In the digital age, Foucault's ideas are more relevant than ever. Think about the algorithms that track our every move online. They gather knowledge about our likes, our fears, and our habits, and they use that knowledge to exercise power over what we see and what we buy. We are living in a digital panopticon where our data is used to create a truth about us that we didn't even choose. By understanding the connection between power and knowledge, we can become more critical of the systems that try to define us. We can see that the truth is often just a story that someone with power wants us to believe. In conclusion, Michel Foucault's work is like a set of glasses that lets us see the invisible forces at work in our daily lives. He teaches us that power is not just about big leaders and loud laws, it is about the quiet things, the words we use, the facts we believe, and the way we look in the mirror. He shows us that knowledge is never neutral. It is always connected to a desire to organize, manage, and control. By learning how power knowledge works, we can become more aware of the invisible strings that pull us. We can start to reclaim our own stories and challenge the idea that there is only one normal way to live. Foucault reminds us that the greatest power of all is the power to define reality, and that is a power we should always be ready to question. If you found this detailed exploration of Michel Foucault's ideas on power and knowledge helpful and want to dive deeper into the fascinating theories that explain our modern world, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Do not forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update when we release new videos exploring the great thinkers and philosophies of our time. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to continuing this journey of discovery with you in the next one.